Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. US President Donald Trump has held what he described as a very good hour-long phone call with his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky, a day after speaking to Russia's President Vladimir Putin. Mr. Zelensky said afterwards that he believed that lasting peace can be achieved this year under Trump's leadership. Possible US ownership of Ukraine's nuclear power plants was also discussed, the White House said, although this has been ruled out by Mr. Zelensky.
Russians can't really be trusted with that, and would be very, even if it was passed over to US operation, would be not inclined to attack it at least, and you would have probably sensible people actually sort of controlling the material and the facility there.
At least 85 Palestinians have been killed in overnight Israeli airstrikes in Gaza. That's according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Hours later, Israel's military said it had intercepted 3 rockets, which Hamas's armed wing said it fired at Tel Aviv in response. It comes after Israel resumed its bombing campaign and ground operations in Gaza this week, with airstrikes having already killed more than 430 people over the past 2 days, according to the health ministry. Police have detained at least 100 people after protests erupted in Turkey as authorities detained the mayor of Istanbul just days before he was due to be selected as a presidential candidate. In a video message, Ekrem İmamoğlu said, "I am saddened to say that a handful of minds trying to usurp the will of the people have used my beloved police, the security forces of this country, as a tool for this evil." He is seen as one of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's strongest political rivals. Prosecutors accused him of corruption and aiding a terrorist group, calling him a criminal organization leader suspect. 4 Canadians have been executed in China on drug-related charges earlier this year, Canadian authorities have confirmed. All of them were dual nationals and their identities have been withheld, Canada's foreign minister said. China's foreign ministry said the facts of the crimes committed by the Canadian nationals involved in the cases are clear and the evidence is solid and sufficient.
I think it makes it pretty clear that any interaction that China is going to be willing to have with Canada, it's going to insist that it be on its terms, and the Communist Party is not willing to make any meaningful concessions about that for the sake of better relations, for the sake of improved trade, for anything like that.
A French tourist detained by Iranian authorities for more than 2 years has been released and returned to France. Olivier Grondeau, 34, is free and with his family, Emmanuel Macron wrote on X on Thursday, adding, "We share his family's immense happiness and relief." Mr. Grondeau was arrested in southern Iran in October 2022 and sentenced to 5 years in prison for conspiracy against the Islamic Republic. His family have always denied the charges. The Iranian regime has arrested many tourists and dual nationals in recent years, mostly on spying and national security charges.
The Finnish sunshine returns after a long, dark winter, as reindeer meander through dense northern forests.
And a report has ranked Finland as the world's happiest country for the 8th consecutive year. The 13th annual World Happiness Report, released to mark the UN's International Day of Happiness, ranks the world's happiest countries by asking people to evaluate their lives. Finland again took top spot with an average score of 7.73 out of 10, while Costa Rica and Mexico have entered the top 10 for the first time. Both the UK and the US slipped down the list to 23rd and 24th respectively, the lowest ever position for the United States.
Coming from England, I think the thing that stands out for me in Finland is the emphasis on nature. It seems like everyone's a lot more in touch with nature.
I'd say that especially now that the sun is shining, nature is an important part of that happiness.
It seems that Finnish people are relatively satisfied with their lives, and it quite much has to do with that we have quite a well-functioning society. So the democracy is functioning well, so we have free elections, free speech, low levels of corruption, and all of these have been shown to predict higher levels of national levels of well-being.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.